speakers and participants who will be presenting the research papers on various subjects. Without wasting much more time, I would request RK sir to give us the permission to lift the curtains for today. Sir, can we go ahead with the curtain raising ceremony?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Nikhil, can you? Yeah. Virtual claps, I believe, everyone. Also, we'll be, playing a small devotional song before we start off for the day. We believe in having an auspicious start to any great event that is there. Nikhil, if you can, yeah. Thank you so much, Nikhil, for that. Now I would request our very own Rajesh Srivastava sir to explain the flow of today's entire day. Sir, please, over to you.
Thank you, sir.
I think Nikhil, you have to pause that. Yeah, just move to the next slide. Yeah, okay.
49 हो गया.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. There were some technical really sorry for the interruptions. Today, we welcome you for the second day program. We have Dr. Pavaskar who will be giving vote of thanks and sharing his experience immediately after my speech. We have our old friend, Dr. Vivek Mendonca, Group Director, Lawrence Mayo, who is going to share his experience about consumer in the post-COVID era, what is their behavior pattern. He's a very hardcore marketing professionals and managing a 148 years old company very well. So after Dr. Pavaskar's speech, he will be taking over. It is a great honor, Dr. Mendonca, to have you here. Today, at 4 o'clock, Dr. Mule will be sharing his experience, how, we can bring in the
request everyone to be on mute, please.
Industry and academia interface. We will be sharing that today at between 4 and 4:30. Then, we have 8 o'clock, the Principal Education Secretary, Honorable Principal Education Secretary will be addressing us about the changes in the education, what is happening around, so recent trends. And then 8:30 we'll be announcing the prize, which will be declared by the Recon Committee. They have worked overnight to collate the marks given by different chairperson. Then they have taken the average, and then they will be displaying the total marks of each person presented yesterday and also today. And then, they will be declaring the prizes. There will be 3 prizes under general management track. For each track, there will be 1 prize. So there will be 3 prizes in the general management track. And then, there will be 1 prize for finance track. Then 2 prizes for marketing, because there were 2 tracks in marketing. And then, there will be 2 prizes for student track, which was a suggestion made by the Recon Committee. So we agreed, and so the credit goes to the Recon Committee, who has worked day and night to make this program very successful. So I welcome you once again for this program, and please participate. And you are supposed to make a note of the suggestion given by the chairpersons to improve your paper. And then, by 30th June, you can send the paper, which will be sent for review. So 2 journals are there. One is Export Marketing, International Journal of Export Marketing, which you heard the chief editor addressing us. And the second journal is our own journal, which is published since 1995, Sydney, which is published by the Sydney Management Institute, where Dr. Ashish Pavaskar is the chief editor and the editor of the same journal. And, the paper will undergo review process. There will be 2 reviews, and the reviewers' comment will be shared to you. And once you comply with the reviewers' comment, then only your paper will be accepted. This is as far as 2 journals are concerned. Plus, in addition, suppose you want to publish in a book, which is the ISBN publication. So those who couldn't get their papers published in the journal can opt to get it published in the book form, which has an ISBN number, so that can be published also, and it will be available free of cost. So this is the procedure, sir. And I hope we do expect your live participation as you have done yesterday. It went off very well, and the participants, I hope you are very happy. There is a feedback which we got. Yesterday we had 3 international faculties sharing their views from different parts of the world, and I hope you liked it. Today we have Dr. Mole and Dr. Mendonca, and Honorable Principal Secretary of Education of Maharashtra Government will be addressing this. Over to you, sir. Over to
Thank you so much, sir, for putting up the schedule of the day 2 of the event. Now I would like to request Dr. Ashish Pavaskar, sir, to give a vote of thanks to everyone. Sir, over to you.
Yes, thank you, all of you. And thank you, sir, for setting the tone in place for the event over the day. And also how our researchers are supposed to work on their papers in the coming days, months, especially once they get their peers, the peers blind reviewed suggestions from their end. So I would request each one of you to take the criticism in the correct spirit, because we run the journal is completely ethical, completely as per a non-plagiarized kind of format template that we have, and Dr. Srivastava strictly and correctly adheres to. So request to each one of you is to be very, very diligent, very, very pragmatic, and absolutely ethical about what you are going to contribute to this journal, or both the journals of repute. And as he rightly said, there would also be an opportunity for you to have your chapters in a particular book that shall be coming out in due course. Having said that, I'm sure that all of you have done that diligence, have done that study, and then have that ethical bent of mind in your own spaces, that you shall surely adhere to it. So a very warm welcome to each one of you again. This is exactly as we speak, 1/3 of the year is coming to an end today. Tomorrow is May Day, so we hope that we don't have a May Day in the sense of asking for help. I'm sure we all in that sense are self-sufficient to take care of ourselves all through the day today. Dr. Mendonca is lined up next to give his views on the conference's deliberations. He's been a good support to this event for over the last decade, 9 years that we have. Our committee members, student volunteers, invited faculty. I can see Dr. De Silva also. So she's also very integral part of Simsri family. So thank you for being here, ma'am. And more importantly, as the day progresses, we have various tracks. Some of you would be chairing those tracks. Some of you would be volunteering there. Some of you would be speaking there, presenting your papers. So all the very best. And the day would be concluded in good spirit by the Honorable Secretary, Higher Education and Technical Education, Government of Maharashtra, Dr. Rastogi, who's kindly consented to Dr. Srivastava's request to be present amidst us. We'll be having more students also. We'll be having more researchers also joining in through the day. So on behalf of SIMSRI, on behalf of the consultation committee, the research and consulting committee, on behalf of faculty, staff, students of SIMSRI, I welcome each one of you. And at the end, a very special thank you to all the volunteers from the committee and the research and consulting club and the students who are our backbone, who are our spine, without whom we cannot for a minute also even think of having a program of this magnitude. And finally, and of course not lastly but finally, a very big and huge thank to our support, our Bhishma Pitama of this whole event, Dr. Srivastav, without whom this event could not be staged, could not be envisaged even. And the kind of sincerity, diligence that he's been showing for conducting this event in the most correct manner really deserves standing ovation actually, but I know it's not possible. At least at my end, I'll stand for sir by the end of this day. So thank you, sir, for being there as a support, as a guide, as a philosopher, as a mentor, as a friend, as a senior faculty. So without you, I don't think I think eventually this conference would be named Dr. Srivastav conference. This is our conference, but sir, we need some support, some fulcrum is required, sir, which comes from you, and I'm unabashedly saying so, sir. So it's a fan movement, so don't spoil it, please. So thank you so much for doing all this, sir. And finally, again, a request to all of you, as per Dr. Srivastav's, the way he's methodically planned out for the next year. January 1st week is the envisaged conference. If it's going to be held on an offline, on-campus kind of basis. So hope to see each one of you again in much more greater numbers also. If for whatever reasons, and I'm sure we will be fighting and getting over the virulent virus of corona by that time, but for whatever reason, if the devil does not move from our day-to-day lives. So in that sense, in that context, next April, almost as we speak, 365 days away from today, we'll meet on a hybrid, if nothing else, kind of mode, for which I would look forward to welcoming each one of you again. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Thank you, our student volunteers, for giving me an opportunity at the outset. Please take over from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words, and you truly are an inspiration. And this wouldn't have been possible without the support and the guidance of you all. So thank you for giving us this opportunity. Now, I would like my other colleague, that is Ashlesha Patil, to give a short introduction about our chief guest speaker.
Yes. Thank you, Darshan. The pandemic has upended the lives and the livelihoods across the globe, forcing the consumers and businesses to adopt to the new digital behaviors. The homebound consumers have abandoned ingrained shopping habits, hurtling the e-commerce into hyperdrive and compressing a decade's worth of digital adoption in just 100 days. The businesses responded to a digital-first marketplace by quickly pivoting and innovating to find new ways to connect with the new customers. What does this mean for business leaders? To understand this better, we have with us today Dr. Vivek Mendonca. He is a business leader, mentor, advisor to the entrepreneurs, motivational speaker, philanthropist. He is Group Director, Marketing at Links, Lawrence and Mayo. We welcome you, sir. Now the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much. So before I get into my presentation, I don't mind the students share the screen, not a problem.
So I think now you can share the screen. We have stopped it. So yeah, you should be good, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Right. So I want to start with a little bit of banter and humor, because it's afternoon time, and I'm going to make you all definitely laugh and smile, and there's going to be a lot of learning, cross-learning. So we have a common friend and a common also enemy, and that common friend and common enemy is the HR manager or the recruitment manager. Many years ago, because we do a lot of programs, corporate eye testing programs, and I have a database of maybe over 300 HR managers. And on behalf of academia and industry and the interface, I used to always tell the HR managers that those who do an online course they should get equal weightage for a full-time MBA. Now is the time where we can all laugh because all the programs have gone online, and the HR manager or recruitment committee is definitely confused on how to select. But with that, it also gives us a lot of onus where we have to keep improving ourselves and standing out as faculty as well as students from the crowd. As you can see, we have gone through this 20th of March 2020, the pandemic started, and it still continues. We see the numbers going up and down. I'm going to especially focus on just CX's customer experience. So this is a time where, in many families, people have lost a near or dear one. Sending them a sales message either on SMS or WhatsApp or an email is definitely not the appropriate thing to do. And being showing true concern and helpfulness. A lot of people have gone out of their way, delivering daily essentials, starting up kitchens for the less fortunate, and taking charge where government was not able to do it. NGO stepped in and made sure the missing gaps which were there were taken care of. Now we have come into the post-COVID times, and yes, there are a certain amount of people coming back to offices, retail outlets. I was just talking to a colleague from the advertising and marketing world, and she told me that Vivek, many people, many of the employees and team members don't want to come back to work. They prefer to resign or work in a hybrid manner. So this is a challenge. There was a viral film which went out around called The Great Resignation. Many people attempting to become an entrepreneur. So it's a wait and watch game. HR managers at tenterhooks to handle the situation. Coming to what has happened, the father of retail of India, Kishore Biani, who has created many firsts. Unfortunately, Reliance Retail is not buying them. It's a wait and watch game to see. I learned a lot from him. I've read his book, Made in India. And what the lessons which I've learned is that over leveraging your debt, where he had a debt more than 14,000 crores, is definitely will push you in a difficult circumstances. Retail is a cash and carry business, and if you control your expenses and your purchase, you have to be profitable. A very good example is DMart, the frugal way in which the retail outlets are put across, which is there. It is also the time for the CX customers to position the forefront of long-term shift in consumers' behavior and the results of crisis. So we are seeing from 300 to 350 million. We are in 2002, 2025. It is going to grow by a whopping 50 million. Any of you all of young students or faculty planning to start a digital agency will do extremely well if you can understand very clearly on how to bring in leads for B2B businesses, and as well as how to bring in leads for the B2C business. I can tell you, government, 86% of our business is with Government of India. They have launched a portal called GEM, Government E-Marketplace. And any purchase above 10 lakhs has to be done only on the GEM portal. This is making so streamlining everything, and you are able to get your order, your purchase order, your sales order in your inbox very easily, and the money is also credited to your account. So this is not some theoretical knowledge. I'm seeing it happen in our business, and things are definitely changing. So that's a tip for the students. Anyone launching a good digital agency who will really qualify themselves in Google AdWords and all the softwares which are there will do extremely well. We see print and paper and magazines becoming thinner and thinner. I've been a very old reader of Economic Times, where Economic Times used to be minimum 35 to 40 pages. And holding a pink paper in your hand itself said you were a credible person. But nowadays it has come down to hardly 8 to 10 pages, and the ads are also disappearing. It's the foresight of Times of India to move online and have a good paid readership of their content is a strategy they have started more than 15 years ago. So what are e-commerce companies doing? So e-commerce companies today, there is a breaking news that the company, we have just launched our drone training academy in Coimbatore with SREC College of Engineering. And one of our to-be partners, Garuda Aviation, is already been asked by Amazon to test drone delivery of certain goods in certain pockets. So drones are going to become really a mainstay, and a lot of e-commerce companies will have to basically adapt to change, which is there. So for all the young students, if you're living on the 10th floor, 15th floor, and you've got grills on your window, it's high time to remove the grills, because one day you may have a drone arriving on your dining table and delivering your Swiggy packet. One more point to bring across is a lot of retail outlets have blocked their money in inventory and in stocks. So basically rationalizing that over a period of time, where you know what is there in your warehouse, what is there in your retail outlets, and be able to pick a product as fast as possible based on the customer's inquiry will be the paramount. So as fast as you can ship it. You see in the pharmacy and Dunzo, they are all trying to make sure that within 10 minutes they are able to deliver essential products, could be some groceries, could be medicines or anything to your home directly. So bringing customers to your homes now, a lot of real estate people saw a shift from one bedroom to two bedroom to three, where one room is becoming the Soho. Soho means small office, home office, where you got a very good internet facility. I was talking to a very big hotelier who owns a good property in Alibag, and earlier, 7 or 8 years ago, he used to tell me, Vivek, people would fight or pay a premium to get a room facing the sea. Today, a lot of couples, young couples, want a steady Wi-Fi, and they are not worried about whether they got a sea view from their room or not. So things are changing. Wi-Fi has become the roti, kapna, and makan, and become a very essential thing which is there. And I will share how that is changing customer behavior as we move around. Making physical operations touch free. The person who's really pioneered this and taken this ahead are some of the banking organizations and McDonald's. McDonald's was the first to introduce kiosk on the Bombay Pune Expressway, on the Delhi Gurgaon, Delhi Noida Expressway, where just from the parking lot you would be able to place the order, then drive around and pick up your order. So all this technology costs definitely money. I want to share with the students, if you go to an ATM machine and withdraw 100 rupees, it costs the bank 118 rupees to give you that 100 rupees. So it is a loss in which money is delivered. They are preferring everything will go in a digital manner. Social media. So there are 213 countries in the world. The social media, what we see in India, be it Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, is not the same which is there in the rest of the world. Every country has got its preferences. Recently, as I told you, I was in Coimbatore. I opened the Ola and Uber app, and I could just not get connected to any driver or taxi of the Ola Uber. What is predominant are some regional players like Red Taxi. So companies are struggling there. This is where future brand managers of students will be able to understand regional pockets, regional peculiarities, and bring about transformation and changes and help your company sort of adapt to the new world. So please be well aware that the social media handles which are famous in India need not be famous all over the world. You have to, if you are going to be a global manager, you have to understand and study the global peculiarities. There are also peculiarities in certain states and certain cities, which is there. Let me share an interesting story. I was proud to meet at a CMO conference in Mumbai, a gentleman who works for a travel company. He wanted to gain a lot of followers to his site. So he did something very interesting. He took yellow post-its and he wrote his name and his number and his hashtag, his company details. When he would drive from Delhi to Gurgaon, the 2 or 3 taxis behind, he would pay the toll fee. This is before the FASTag and other things. So this is a 3 or 4 year old story. And automatically, he would request the attendant to give that post-it to the next 2, 3 people. He would do this on daily basis, and his fan following to his particular travel site grew phenomenally. So this is a mix of real world marketing and using social handles to get followers there. So he got an interesting thumbs up. People were happy and grateful, were wondering why that old fee was paid by an unknown stranger. But this is what people do, unusual things to get followers to their portal. This is some statistics we would like to see of the social media spends. You can see the graph moving very sharply upwards, and there are going to be huge spends. Whatever was in print, outdoor media, in magazines, in events, is all now being pumped into digital. At one time, our digital marketing budget was hardly 10%. I think it would have grown to at least 75 to 80% online now. We hardly do anything much in print, and there is going to be a sea change. Let me share some other statistics. India is going to be a young country only for 20 years. So from 2022, we start in the year 2020 to 2040. By 2040, more than 25% of the population is going to be geriatric, and there's a whole new opportunities of products and services will come in. So please take note of the 74% increase in the spends on social media. Coming now to the content. See, content is king. We have heard that cliche statement. Lot of stuff which companies put out. But I'm sorry to say this, in the content team, often I see posts, there's bad English, bad grammar, there's not authentic things being written down in posts. That goes back to education. So you have to upgrade yourself constantly using a lot of tools like spell check, Grammarly, so many other tools which are there. Whatever content you put out has to be completely authentic. As a Stackler report says, 90% of the 1590 says that authenticity is the most important. So if you put out any wrong or false information, it is misleading. The customers, the clients, the prospects will stop believing your brand. I would also like to now speak about the original. When you log on to any particular website, you will see that many websites say they are the original website or the original app, because a lot of fake apps have come in. This is leading to a lot of frauds, white collar crimes. So any of the young students of Asia Pacific Conference, because I know that Dr. Benedict is there from other institutes, please consider this. I had the privilege of visiting Gandhinagar in Gujarat, where there's a forensic institute, 6,000 students, all being picked up by Microsoft and Amazon and different companies to just study fraud detection and fraud management. I went there because 15 drones land up from our neighboring country in that area, which are packed by the police and sent there for investigation. Even today, any foreign-made drone, where it was sending the information, is all being studied by this forensic institute. I recommend also the students, please do not fly any illegal drones which don't have the requisite permissions, because there is a no permission, no takeoff. You're liable to be arrested with 2 weeks without any opportunity to bail. So since we are in the sector, I'm warning the students and faculty. So please be aware, and there are a lot of rules and regulations in the DGCA. In the small and nano category, yes, you can fly in the green zone, not in the red zone, which is close to defense establishments. So building customer engagement into your culture. So recently I was at a patisserie, the patisserie store in Kulaba, sipping a cup of coffee. An old geriatric lady at about 82 or 85 walked in. She had received some pamphlet or SMS communication. I think it was more of an SMS or about communication. She wanted that offer to be taken immediately. Now, the people at that counter were insisting that she has to download the app and then only avail of this offer. An 83-year-old lady who has grandchildren, I happen to know her. She's a leading and respected doctor. It was very challenging for her. So this is where customer attitude or client attitude comes in, where there are some people who are afraid to be online. Let us recognize that. And this is where, when my old friend Mr. Ajit used to be in Chroma, I always told him to set up a small desk where because the youngsters will just show you the switch on button of the mobile, disconnect, how to send a message, SMS and WhatsApp, but they will not explain all the features. And I said there are a lot of young boys and girls who buy the mobile first day, first show. So every time a mobile comes out, there are a lot of geeks who buy it, they study the mobile, they use it for a couple of weeks, and then they sell it again in the gray market. Such boys and girls are a great resource to understand the buying behavior and buying culture. So wherever there are electronics, to have a interface, yes, a certain amount of population will be very comfortable online, but there is a certain amount of population which is not comfortable to be online. Track customer sentiments. Tracking your customer, tracking what a customer is saying, feeling, and thinking is critical right now. To get started with tracking your customer sentiments, get a few processes and elements in place. Set benchmarks and quantify wherever possible so you have constant to compare back to. So if people are replying, if you send out approximately say 20,000 message and 1,800 reply, you have to see which day of the week you sent it. Did you send it on Monday to Friday? Did you send it on Saturday and Sunday? At what time? There are so many of my policies which I have to pay online. I do it either early in the morning or late in the night. These are all customer sentiments. So putting customers in finite buckets is an outdated. Customers, as you will see ahead in my presentation, are behaving in a non-linear manner. If you have data of 3 years or 5 years, it is of no use because things are so hyper that your data of yesterday, if it can help you predict what is going to happen today and tomorrow, it will be really useful. Reimagining what is going to happen in the post-COVID world. So the COVID-19 crisis will end at some point. We expect the changes in consumer preference and business models to outlast the immediate crisis. So there is a crisis which is there. We have to admit it. I'm sorry to say that there is a World War III going on, and we are in a denial mode. I watch Al Jazeera thanks to my mentor from the Xavier Institute of Management, Dr. Vaidyanathan, who has many years ago taught me to log on to Al Jazeera and watch it. In China, more than 55% of the consumers have shifted to online grocery shopping. So though they have a grocery shop just a block or 2 blocks away from their house, they prefer to order online, so it comes in neat packets and properly arranged. In Indian houses, where you have the husband and wife both working, we have seen about getting the groceries arranged, which will be used for lunch or what for breakfast and what will be used for dinner. The brand, which was born out of Bangalore with a pre-idli mix and has become nearly a unicorn now, has gone all over the world. And I'm sure with the number of Indians, diaspora abroad, they will do exceedingly well to make rava idli, dosas, Kerala parathas, tandoori rotis, etc. So the world is changing. We have to have a ear to the ground. I have always have a fight with MBA students. Is they tend to sit in the office behind a computer, not interacting with the dealers, clearing and forwarding agent, things like that. I spend a maximum time 12 to 15 days in the market, listening and meeting my clients, interacting with them, and a ear to the ground. I've been doing this for 30 years and I don't stop. It is always very helpful to get, because what my managers will tell me will be a distilled or a filter approach. So get your thing. Companies like Asian Paints, companies like Unilever, companies like Procter and Gamble will compulsorily put you in the rural area. I had an employee, Anand Shirsagar, who had worked, I think, 2-3 years in Asian Paints and came to us for a very short period of time. He did his doctorate. Very fantastic human being and a good employee. He was forced, in spite of his huge qualifications, he was forced to wear an overall. He fought with the HR manager that I'm not a worker, I will not wear an overall. He was forced to wear a very politely, and he was asked to rub sandpaper on number of walls to understand Asian Paints, putty, and other new products which is there. So please get real, dirty your hands. That is where you will stand out. In your batch of 80 or 120 students, If there is a difference between a sparkling diamond and a artificial diamond, it's the listening to the real world and getting insights. All the people who I look up to, like Piyush Pandey and so many other great thinkers, they roam around by the local trains in India. They roam around in auto rickshaws, taxis. They're constantly getting Pisun, Parsun, and all the great people. They're constantly interacting with the real people to get insights. Find savings without sacrificing, sorry, without sacrificing experience. So this is a time, if any company is not cost cutting, it is telling you a big lie. So you have to give the same sort of experience or better by reducing certain costs which are there. I was in a 3-star hotel recently. The hotel lobby was usually air conditioned as soon as you entered. They have fitted 2 pedestal fans to control the electricity bill. The the wall-mounted fans were excellent and giving a good cooling experience. So without finding savings, so when you work with your senior management, if you can spot various areas where the company is unnecessarily spending money or blowing up money without any reason, and you can cut those costs, then you will be definitely a preferred employee to go up the corporate ladder. Here, I would like to also talk about India's economy has been functional. Our economy is not at its full speed pre-COVID. We are currently only at 57%. We are oscillating between 49 to about 57%. And yet there are a lot of migrant workers yet in their villages. There are certain areas which they get a benefit if they are unemployed, the Megra scheme. And they receive that, they are spending quality time with their family, and it's been about 2.5, 3 years. There are certain states we will read ahead which are highly dependent on migrant labor, and that is causing a cost escalation in the construction industry. So these are the states which I spoke about. Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu account for 30%. Many of you all would not know this. 30%. So any of you are getting into cement industry, steel industry, construction, infrastructure, maximum construction is happening in these states. Unfortunately, all the boys and girls have gone into the software sector. We are doing a lot of work in rural India. Not many boys and girls are there to help their parents and grandparents in the farming sector. Hence, they're going for drones to spray pesticides, to spray fertilizers. Drones are now being used also to plant seeds. There are 160 applications of drones, and I will be sharing as we go along. So as we see, this is the people. If you do not have enough of your staff or team, you cannot play cricket with 8 people or 9 people in the hospitality industry. I was at a 5-star hotel maybe 8 or 10 months ago, a very nice 5-star hotel. I was used to a fantastic service, but the boy who was giving me the service, and I had a couple of guests from out of station, he was definitely not a regular employee. So all this is impacting customer experience. So we were at a very high benchmark pre-COVID. You don't have there's a great resignation. Many people have not returned to work. HR is in a tizzy on how to deliver the best experience with limited people. Training has to be done now very fast on the job in a swift manner. In both moderate and broad opening cases, the lack of adequate work opportunities. So what we read in the press is not what is happening in ground reality. The out of Mumbai's population of 2 crore 40 lakh, I can easily tell you that more than at least 15 to 20 lakh people will be unemployed or on daily wages. So that is having a consequence. The petrol and diesel prices are going up. People are postponing the purchase of the electrical vehicles. We have got electrical batteries also getting on fire. This is all having a compounding effect, which will affect customer sentiments. A lot of our pesticides and fertilizers, the raw material would come in from Russia. That is not coming in. That cost escalation and short supply is definitely going to hurt the rural sector for us. So please understand, you all are all students of economics. I'm still a student of economics. Reading the macro picture and understanding the micro picture and correlating that is the most important. So the stock market goes up and down, not on whims and fancies and emotional, whether Rakesh Jhunjhunwala sneezes or doesn't sneeze. There are many factors to it. And please start studying these things because you're in the premier institute. SIMSRI is ranked within the top 5 of the country. And our boys and girls do extremely well in corporate world, thanks to the good faculty you have and a lot of input which they put in. A small note on the MSME industry. Okay, so many people don't know that the MSME industry is nearly about 6.3 crores of the people in the MSME industry. That's a huge percentage. These are all accurate numbers which myself and my team members have gathered. So out of the jobs offered which are there, 3.6 crores is from the manufacturing sector, 3.9 in the trade, and 3.7 in the other sectors. In the Retail Association of India, RAI, we have been proud members of RAI since the last 16, 17 years. Mr. Kumar Rajgopalan is a dear friend, Dr. Lawrence Fernandez, and many others which are there. The retail sales are now slowly coming back. There is an increase compared to 2019 to 2021. Quick service restaurants which had a very attitude towards home delivery or office delivery is seeing a 12% spurt which is there. And overall the food category, when you're at home, you like to munch more snacks. So anyone in the share market business, the share prices of all the snack companies are bound to go up, like Balaji Wafers and a few others which are there. That is my reading of the market. How digital marketing is going to grow in the post-COVID. So as I said, 85-90% of all companies, be it B2B, B2C or B2G, we are also into the B2G, business to government. A lot of stuff is going to go online. As I told you, we will have to demonstrate technical products, highly complicated engineering equipment and instrumentation online. Lot of the hospitals where Lawrence and Mayo supplies microscopes, analytical laboratory, ovens, muffle furnaces, we could not enter those hospitals because they were all COVID hospitals. So we are seeing a surge now in business because they are allowing us to enter in, and there's been a backlog of placing new orders. So as a brand manager or CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, I'm sure many of you all will grow to that position. You have to constantly equip yourself, trying to listen to what is happening on the ground, listening to the salespeople. Marketing has got a perception of just making fancy digital JPEG and catalogs, but unless the customer buys it, it is of course no meaning and it is useless. A small tip is there that try and do a lot of the communication in vernacular and regional languages. This is a trend which I started in my organization. We have booklets in Marathi, Telugu, Kannada, Hindi, Uri, Gurmukhi, and several other languages. I would like now to take you to the next part of my presentation is the word Bani. We have all heard of VUCA. SIMSRI has done number of seminars on VUCA. I've been receiving your newsletter, online newsletter. In the last 7-8 years, you'll have done a lot of seminars on VUCA. The word VUCA is now completely moving out. I observe youth. Today also I was at the convocation of St. Paul's Institute of Communication, sitting in a coffee shop and watching. The youth today, relationships have become very brittle. People are getting angry, irritated very fast, and they are always anxious. You observe a lot of youth, they're constantly tapping their mobile. Let me show to you what they do. Keep tapping their phone, they're using so many multiple screens, and that is leading to them becoming anxious. We'll take that all in detail. The word Bani has come from the gentleman called Mr. James Cassio, who himself has invented the word, facing an era of chaos or chaos. I prefer to say chaos. That's the correct way to pronounce it. It is a good explanation of what Bani word is about, an acronym for brittleness or fragility, anxiety, non-linear. So all your data students your 3-year data, 5-year, 7-day, explorating it and bringing it to present is of no use and incomprehensible. Let us see it in detail as we go along. So all this is to understand the consumer, right? Whether, let me cause a distinction where this is my favorite. Is your customer a customer? When does your customer become a client? When does your client become a patron? When does your patron become an advocate? When you sit in an Uber and Ola, you are just a customer. You have used the Ola app or Uber app or Red Taxi app, and you a taxi which is unknown to you except for the 4 digits number is come. You may not have had that driver before or that vehicle before. So you are used to the Uber app or the Ola app, and you are a customer to that taxi driver. When Uber and Ola over a period of time wish you for your birthday, for your parents' wedding anniversary, it turns into a relationship. Till now, I don't think Uber or Ola have wished me or my wife for our wedding anniversary. So I am still a customer with Uber or Ola. The minute you start interacting closely, communicating with your customers regularly, 6 times, 8 times, 10 times in a year, listening to them, replying back to their queries, then you become a client. And then lastly, if you are a client, we have clients who are with us for 35 years, 40 years, 42 years. Mr. G.D. Billa has been a client. Mr. Kumar Mangalam Billa, his grandson, has been a client and is still a client. So and when they advocate or they recommend other family members and friends, then that person becomes a patron and is very proud to be associated with your brand. Lot of lifestyle influencers are paid patrons. They are not authentic patrons. They are paid patrons which are there. And the last is the advocate, that if the brand does something wrong, how many people for Volkswagen got up and said, yes, Volkswagen screwed up 4 or 5 years ago in some emission report. But I have driven a Volkswagen for the last 10 years or 15 years, and it's a fabulous car. That is called an advocate of the brand. So we have covered this: brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible. So let us see how we have moved from the VUCA world. You don't be in the age old of VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex. We have moved now to a very different level, and you see people at a drop of a hat in a fast food restaurant. They get into arguments with the waiters, with the captain, with the delivery people who are delivering the food to their houses, and lose their temper with them. The many companies where employees are going back to their offices are instituting yoga programs, be silent programs to cool down the mentality of the employees. Because when you have a very volatile, or I would like to say a brittle culture in the organization, the understanding between the employee and the team leaders becomes very challenging. So a lot of such programs are being done. I recommend those working from home. I do a guided meditation every 3 or 4 weeks for 1 hour, 10 minutes. If you ask me to meditate, I cannot do it for a long period of time. But a guided meditation, I'm able to put in 1 hour, 10 minutes, and I feel refreshed as if I've got up after 100 years sleep. So as we see the difference between VUCA and Bani going along is that the earlier VUCA was all about a descriptive meaningfulness about life. It was not understanding the new perspective. The Bani is more on the fly and understanding it. All the CMOs and CXOs have to read the feedback. I've written to 2 or 3 companies in the last 2 or 3 months on the info account. These are big companies in the FMCG place. Not a single reply. Who's checking the info account? Some dad who has left the organization and has not given the password. I've written to Procter & Gamble a couple of years ago that when they launched a new shampoo, it was burning in my eye. In 2 days, I got a call and immediately they wanted to replace the product. I said, again, it will burn my eyes. Just give me something else or some other product. So being very close to your consumer, listening to them, checking your info accounts. We have a person in Lawrence Simeo who's checking the info account on a 24-hour basis I challenge anyone in the audience. We have got 83 people, faculty. Please write a message on the info account of Lawrence Mio and see how fast you get an experience. So as I told you, is that it allows for a more accurate account of the current circumstances. Just like the BSE index and NSE index with a ticker constantly moving, monitoring your clients, monitoring your customers over a period of time, their sentiments. There is a word in B2B selling. Many of you all may not be aware of it. It is called BANT. Don't mix it up with Bani. Budget, authority, need, and a timeline. So if you're doing B2B business, if the person you're talking to doesn't have a budget to buy your product or service, they doesn't have the authority to take it to the next level, there's no implied or specific need in the organization, you are wasting your time. Excuse me, just one minute. Yes, sir. Hello? Hello? I think I just got a few more slides to finish up, and then we'll take it up from there. Brittle, anxiety, non-linear, and incomprehensible ability for the demands. So there's a transparency and intuition. You have to be open with the customers. I see a lot of companies taking out negative remarks on their Google reviews, on the mouth shut and other places. If you respond positively, that shows a transparency. There has to be empathy. So when there's a lot of anxiousness, cooling the customers down. There will be a lot of places which you go to and they give you a bottle of water immediately because you have entered. Right. I'll be wrapping up. I've just got a message. No problem. I've got the last few slides. Oh.
Sir, if you can wrap up, that will be great, sir.
Sure. So any questions from the students? I'm happy to answer your questions which are there.
They are the faculty, sir. Faculties and the students.
Yeah, students and faculty, please.
Yeah.
You may put it in the chat bar, but I would prefer you to put on your camera and talk and communicate. I will appreciate that. Any questions from the students, from the faculty?
I feel that they are anxious to present their paper,
Okay, no problem.
So anyway, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
It was a very wonderful presentation. In fact, we would like to discuss the same UConn Bani once we meet, and we'd like to invite you also to share your thought process, which you have done in the past too.
Sure.
And I personally like to thank you, sir. And the faculties have said great presentation. You see your comments. Really insightful presentation. All of them liked it. That's very nice, sir. Since we have little time constraint, otherwise we would love to have you. I know.
Sure. No problem.
It is pleasure to listen to you as usual. Always, it was a wonderful presentation.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I'll just put my number in the chat bar so that I love interacting with students. And just a small tip: see that you update your LinkedIn accounts. I've been on LinkedIn and received an award from LinkedIn. So being on LinkedIn is one of the most important things because a lot of people are searching for you on LinkedIn. I'm happy to say I've got 29,000 people following me on LinkedIn. Thank you very much, sir. Jen, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for sparing your time, sir.
Sure. Thank you.
I'll talk to you, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir. Recon committee.
Yeah, Nikhil, if you can introduce the chairperson for the day.
Yeah, so I'll be quickly introducing the chairpersons for the day. So we have 4 tracks today. The track 1 is for the marketing management. We have Dr. Sunil Agarwal, professor from People's Institute of Management and Research, and Dr. Joyita Chatterjee, HOD, professor and HOD Marketing, NL Dalmia Management Institute. Then for the track 2, we have another track for marketing management today. We have Dr. Benedict De Silva, ma'am, Director, Elena Institute of Management Research, and our very own Professor, Dr. Vijay Narkade Sir, Professor and HOD Business Statistics, SIMSRI, Mumbai. And for the third track, that is the only student track that we have Dr. Mohammad Jamshed, Professor from Department of Management, SMBS, Jamia Himdard University, Delhi, and Dr. Poonam Chaudhary ma'am from AIAMS, and Dr. Hemendra Sharma, Professor Babu Banarsi Das University, Varanasi, and Dr. SN Polybitson from Ural Federal University, Russia. And for the last track of the day, track 4, there is the only general management track. We have Dr. Sangeeta Pandit ma'am, HOD Finance from SIMSRI, and also Dr. Ashish Pavaskar sir, HOD General Management, SIMSRI. Now I would request everyone, the chairpersons and the participants, to join their assigned breakout rooms. And in case of any query, you can contact any of the Recon committee members.
Just a small reminder, please join back at 4 p.m. in the main room. You all will be assigned to the main room before 4 p.m. for our next speaker session.
He's from Australia, Dr. Mullane from Australia.
Anyone having any doubts regarding the breakout rooms, please type in the chat box or unmute yourself and we'll help you with that. Thank you.
Just a request, Darshan.